Hi everyone, happy Tuesday. We started this little box yesterday with some sunflowers on it, little ladybug. Didn't quite get finished, so I promised you I would come on today live and finish. Let me see if I can get you pulled down here a little bit. And let me go ahead and get you pulled up on my iPad. My name is Pam Savage and I am owner of Young at Heart Creations, where we craft all the time. We paint, we Mod Podge, we do a little bit of everything. And so many things still to come that I haven't even done. So I like to get on here with you and share what I've learned. And sometimes we just do it by the seat of our pants and you're learning as I learn. So I like that. I think it's fun to always expand and kind of step outside of your comfort zone and challenge yourself, and I've been trying to do that a little bit more lately. So when you hop on, say hi, just let me know who you are and where you're from. If you're new, especially, welcome to everyone, but if you're new and this is your first time, a special welcome. Hope you enjoy it. Typically I would go live on Tuesday evenings around 6 to 6:30. My day has changed now. My official paint day is going to be Thursdays from this point on. So I will paint this Thursday evening if everything goes well with you. And that is because I have a new grandson on the way. And when he is born this summer, I will be, at the end of the summer, I will start keeping him on Tuesdays. So Tuesdays won't be available for me. So I'm going to go ahead and just get it switched over so it'll just, the transition will already be made. I will still hop on here like today, random times, and paint if I'm in the middle of something and I want you to see something that's going on and something that I think you can learn, or if I just want to chat with you. Because I get to missing you, believe it or not. You are an extended family. All of you are. Hi, Cindy. So what we're going to do today is finish this little guy. We got the middle flower is done. We've done everything on it, but we need to finish the other two flowers on here. I'm going to go ahead and get the leaves on, and then we also need to shade on the flowers. I just noticed that we didn't get that far. So I'm going to adjust the camera here so you can see what I'm doing. See if I can get you close enough there. Okay, I think that'll be a good angle. I adjusted my light a little bit, so hopefully there's not quite as much of a shadow as there was yesterday. So to start out with the leaves, I've got Hauser Medium Green, Deco Art Medium Green. And for almost everything yesterday, we used this Royal Langnickel No. 6 round brush. It's just got a round tip on it, and that's what we used for almost everything yesterday. So let's go ahead and get started with some base coating. This is a little bit difficult to maneuver so you can see because of the shape of it. It's a box, and so it's not flat down on my table. So I decided to go ahead and just put a leaf down here. And I'm base coating it in that Hauser Medium Green, and then we'll give some shading. But I thought I'd go ahead and get this going, and then we'll do some shading on the leaves. And I just got a little bit on that black. Let's touch that up a little. Okay, we've got a leaf right here. I don't know how it is where you are today, but it is incredibly windy here. We're under extreme wind advisories. I think we've been getting winds up to 60 or more miles an hour. And we're expecting some pretty strong storms either tonight or into tomorrow. So this time of year, when they say storm, you always stay alert. I am in Sherman, Texas. I'm about 60 miles north of Dallas. So we are right in that Tornado Alley area. I'm about oh, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so. Maybe not even that far from the Oklahoma border. So we get lots of weather. We had a tornado come through here, just blocks from us on both sides. I mean, just destroyed several homes. I guess it's been probably 5 years ago, maybe. It was very scary. Especially when it's in the middle of the night and you can't see anything. And we also live right pretty close to, we live out in the country, but we have a railroad track that goes down in front of all of our houses, about a street over from us. And when it's storming and it's late and that train comes off schedule, you know, your first thought is, oh no, tornado. So he's gotten pretty good about tooting his little horn for us, so we know it's him. He comes quite a bit. Now, he used to only come like once a day, but I think he's coming like 5 or 6 times a day now. So I'm not sure what has prompted all the, I guess with all the truck driver issues, maybe the railroad has kind of tried to pick up some of the slack. It's easier to start from the point and then flatten out and go down. So I was kind of upside down there. Okay, let's see. Get one more coat on here. Remind you also that I will be live tomorrow around 2 o'clock, maybe a couple minutes after, but on the Southern Adornments, and that's 2 O's, Southern Adornments Decor Facebook page, and they will be telling about, they'll be interviewing us about the Painters Clubhouse. That's a club that I'm in with Tamara Bennett. I've been in it for almost 3 years now, and it is what helped and prompted me and gave me the courage to start doing Facebook Lives. So I have learned so much in the group. Okay, so we got our leaves base coated on both ends. And let's do a little bit of shading and highlighting. So I'm going to use Plantation Green Deco Art. Getting a text message, so I was trying to see what that was. I take care of my mom, so when I see anything come up from her, you guys, most of you, if you've been on here, you know that we went through a lot last year with Mom. And so anyway, anytime I see a text or call come from her, I try to get right back and make sure everything's okay. Okay, so I've gotten the base color, that Hauser Medium Green on the brush, and then just on the corner, one corner, I've got some of that Plantation, the dark green. And so we're going to, where it would be shadowed on the leaf, we're going to go down with that dark Plantation, and we're just going to kind of feather it out. You don't want a real harsh line. You just want it kind of softly feathered out. Okay, so there's our dark on that one. Dip back in. And do the bottom one. Technically, they would probably both be shaded in the darker color, but I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of the lighter color on there too, just to give it some layers. Okay, so the light's coming this way from the ladybug over here down this way. So I'm doing the shadow on the opposite side. Going right down into that crevice. And we've got the dark there. Okay, let's do this bottom one. Okay, and then for, let me dry that right quick. And then for the highlight, I'm going to use lime. This is Anita's lime green, but any kind of a citrusy green, even a yellow, a light yellow would work. I'm drying that because there's such little spots that if I go in with that same brush and try to highlight, it would just wipe my shading off. So let me get some of that green out. And I'm just putting a dot, because we just don't have a very large area that we're trying to cover. Okay, and again, I'm just putting a little dot of that light color. And then we'll come down with our highlight on this one. Okay. Just kind of feather it out. Put a little bit more on that one. I can hear the puppy dogs barking. I think they're barking at the wind because that wind is blowing everything, and I think it's got them all rattled. I haven't seen many birds out. I'm sure they're having a hard time maneuvering in it. I'm kind of turning it this way because I don't want it to go over that I just did. Now I could get a smaller brush and shade this in so that it doesn't affect what I just did in the dark, which would probably be the better thing to do. But I've already got this one. I've already got everything on it. So we're just going with it. Now I did add a little bit of moisture to my brush because I had dried this. Typically when you're shading or highlighting, you leave the paint wet and do it on the wet paint. Okay, now let's put our little veins in there. And then we will do some shading on the actual petals. So I'm going to use that dark plantation. And we're going to use a small little liner brush. Tiny, tiny. That plantation is almost when you're just glancing at it, it almost looks black. So you really have to look at it to see that green in it. And we're just going to make some little veins going off here. And then we're going to do a little bit of embellishing with a couple of things on it once we get the petals done here. Okay, and I'm just going to dip into the lid of this white just to put some white little highlight on the leaves. I don't even need enough to squirt out, so I'm just going to dip down into the lid with that little liner brush, and where my highlight color is, just a little swoop. Let's go ahead and put on our centers. Okay, so see the difference that step made? Get the veins in the leaves and then the highlights on the leaves and the highlight in our center in our black. And we'll come back to the white here in just a minute. Now for the flowers, to draw them on, I used a chalk pencil. So if you'll go back and watch part 1 of the video, you'll see how we got the pattern onto our flowers. Okay, so to shade the flowers, we're going to use Espresso, Deco Art Espresso, and it's just a kind of a chocolatey, a light chocolate brown. You could also use, if your yellow was a little bit lighter, you could use Antique Gold, is also pretty. Marigold is pretty. You could even do an orange. So I'm going to put a little bit of my yellow out as well, and we used cadmium yellow. And since these are completely dry, I'm just going to go through here. I've got a little bit of dampness. I could put the floating medium on it, which would work as well. But I'm just dipping my brush in just a little bit of water, not much, just to give it some dampness to help our paint flow. So I'm going to load it with that base color on the petal, just on the tips, and then on the bottom corner, I'm going to put just a little bit of that brown, and then we're just going to work it in to separate the petals. So we'll make this petal behind these two petals, and you just decide which one you want behind and which one you want in front. And I'm going to go right up under that leaf. And then I'm just feathering it out. Okay, we're right here. So we're just put that brown. Going to redip some of that yellow and brown again. I am a directional painter. I have to have the piece facing me the way I'm painting it. I try not to do it as much when I'm painting live, because I know it can make you dizzy if you're trying to watch someone paint and it's going everywhere. right under that leaf and all the way up to the top. Just dipping my brush in the water a little bit. Okay, so let's make, these don't touch enough to make one over the other, so it really doesn't matter. A little bit much on that one, so I'll come back with some yellow and kind of tone it down a little bit. Okay, and that took a little bit of it off. Skipping over to this next leaf to kind of let that one dry just a minute. I don't know if y'all can hear that wind, but it is loud in here. Okay, I want to show you what I just did, because I always want to show you my mistakes as well as what I do right. Okay, see this leaf right here? I mean this petal? I loaded the wrong edge. I had both edges loaded. When I dipped back into my paint, I did it on the wrong edge, and so I ended up with paint on both edges. So I ended up with 2 floating lines. I don't want that there. So I need to take that off right quick before it dries. Baby wipe works great. Let me wash my brush. I just used my wet cloth and it came right off. So I'm going to reload with some of that base coat yellow. So you always want to make sure that you're loading the same corner. Now this one I'm just going to come right up here. Get a little bit of that paint off because this petal is coming over. So I'm just going to right where they meet, give it a little bit of brown there. I'm hoping our power doesn't go out with this storm. This last storm we lost power for, it was a little over 3 hours. And when you're getting ready to go to bed, we have to have our fans on. Even if it's 20 degrees outside, we have our fans going mainly for noise. But we're also in a 2-story house, so it can be cold downstairs, but warm upstairs. And so when the power goes off, I'm awake. Okay, so we got that one done. We'll touch up the black a little bit there. But let's go ahead. I'm going to move just a little bit faster on this one here. Exact same process. A little bit too much water in that one. Get some of that water out. A little bit too much in there. And I will come back over it here in just a second because I had too much water. So we'll let that one dry just a minute. We'll come back to it. I was getting ready this morning after my Bible study this morning. And so I just left, after I finished my Bible study, I turned my Facebook on. Somebody was live on it, and so I just turned them on and left my phone sitting there while I was doing other things, getting ready. And in a minute, I heard this voice. I got busy and I heard this voice. I was upstairs in my bedroom and I heard this lady's voice. It scared me. I thought, who in the world is that? You know, and I had my robe on and everything. Who is that? Duh, I had a video going. But I had forgotten that I had it on because I got busy doing something. And I thought, who is that in my bedroom? And my husband didn't tell me we had company or anybody come in. It was just the video still going. I don't know if that's a sign of old age. I don't know what that's a sign of, but it scared me. And then I realized, you goober, it's the video you turned on. Anybody else do silly things like that sometimes? I know you do. It's just whether or not you would admit it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put some at the base of the petal as well. We did on this one, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now, so it'll be drying. And then we'll make our little marks, our little lines with the liner brush. Okay, I'm going to darken this one up a little bit now that some of that water has dried. I'm going back with my base coat side and just softening it up a little bit. And remember, this texture on this box is very rough. It's got a lot of texture. So sometimes you have to add, if you've got something like that, just add a little more, either your blending gel, water, whatever you're using. You don't want to get too much or you'll do what I just did a minute ago. I have to let it dry a minute. Okay, I'm just going around the center. And then I need to do that on this other flower as well. Now this petal comes over this one. So I'm going to shade right up to that petal. And then we'll come down on this side of it. Okay, I went around the tip of the petal right there to show that petal separation. against that leaf. A little more brown. And one more on this side. This is a Royal Langnickel number 10. So each flower company has its own numbering system, which you would think they could all get together and have the same system. Like a number 10 with Royal Langnickel will be this size, but then with a different company, a number 10 may be that big. So you can't really go with that. You have to know each brand of brushes. Each company has their own measuring system. They should come out with a standard, just like a ruler. Okay, so I'm just going around the edge. The center of the flower. Let's get it on the bottom here. Okay, I don't see any petals that I missed. I think we got them all. While we still have enough brown, I'm going to take this small little liner brush. And we're going to make our little lines. And I'm just rolling that brush out to a point. Long, straight, and then shorter ones going in the opposite direction. You could also do several little lines. Hard to do it like this because I don't have anything to put my hand on over here. So I'm going to turn it around this way. Now I've got something to rest my finger and my hand on. I think I'm going to pull this one towards me. It just really helps to have something to rest your hand, your little finger as a guide. Long, short, short. I'm going to have this one come right off the side. And then we'll come in with some highlights. We're going to go ahead and do our center on the black too, and then opposite directions. Okay, so now we have our flower center. Our little petal wrinkles, I guess is what we'll call them. I don't know what they're called. Okay, so in the center of the flowers, we're going to use Cocoa. And this is Deco Art. khaki would also work. And we're just going to make some little squiggles like the seeds. Just little comma strokes. Just going all different directions. Okay, and then we're just going to come in with the tip of the brush and just make some little dots. Okay, so there's that center. And we'll do the same thing over here. Going up, over, down, around, all different directions. And then we'll make some little dots. You could use the end of your brush, the wood end, or if you have a dotter, D-O-T-T-E-R, you could use that as well. Okay, let's get some white. Then we're going to add, let's do the highlights on that, and then we're going to put something sweet here just to give it a little bit of dimension. And we're going to add just a couple of little things in here. Just to add another layer, a little bit of depth. And I want to go ahead and highlight the petals. And remember, your little dots may be wet, so don't get your hand in those. I'm not going to do it on this one because the tip's off. And let's do here. I guess we could do it just part ways here. And then just kind of blend it in because it is kind of off. There we go. Sometimes I get into my everything has to be symmetrical, and I'm just that way. I admit it with everything when we're putting pictures on the wall. Or my husband knows me by now that, okay, if it's not symmetrical, she's just going to make me redo it. But I've tried and tried to get out of that as much as I can. Okay, so we've got our highlights. Got a little bit there. Then kind of rub it out. Whoops, I got my hand in that one. We're good. Okay, we're going to dry that just a little bit. Hi, Susan. Thank you. I thought I would paint one of these. This is what we're going to be painting, not this pattern. I'll show you in a minute, but what we're going to be painting at my paint party on April the 28th. So if you're within an hour or two drive Would love to have you at the paint party. You'll just go on my website, youngatheartcreations.com, to register. It's only $35. We'll have door prizes, and I will teach you a flower technique that is so easy, that can make such a difference in things. Okay, so let's go ahead. I decided, and I used several different colors, and this is the one that looked the best, but let's go ahead and put some little buttons on it. We're going to glue some buttons. I just think it added a little bit more whimsy, I guess. And I'm going to use this Stick Fast CA Thick glue. I ordered it off of Amazon. So it's Stick Fast CA Thick. So that means it's really thick, and it's a quick, very quick dry super glue. So you want to be very careful when you're using it, and I would not let a child use it. It does not take much at all. And it dries really fast, so get it where you want it, because it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it for a minute just to let it set up. And it's done. That's how fast. Now this would be so cute just to use a lot of different buttons. Don't paint the flowers on, but use the buttons, different colors, as the flowers, and just paint stems and leaves with all different sizes and colors of buttons. I will probably have to do that now that I think about it. I love using buttons. Anytime I find buttons at a garage sale, thrift shop, antique shops, wherever, I grab them. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it down a minute. It's done. It is not going anywhere. Isn't that cute? You could have put yellow, you could put any color, but that seemed to look good with our green. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue back up. I've gotten that glue on my fingers so many times. I haven't glued them together yet. Came close. But fingernail polish remover does help get it off, but in a couple of days it will wear off. Just washing your hands, it will. Okay, so I want to add a little more to it. We could stop right there and it would be adorable. And what we're going to be doing with the one that we're doing at the paint party on the 28th, this is the pattern that we'll be doing, something similar, but you can do any color if you want it to look like sunflowers. We're going to be painting the little flower pots to go inside, so they can be brush holders. You can actually put a plant in it. It doesn't matter. So you would paint these to match the color scheme that you've got, or you could just leave them terracotta. You know, it doesn't matter, but that's what we'll be doing with them. But isn't that cute? Let's see, I think I've got some terracotta ones that I haven't painted over here. Yep, there they are. You could even just put one in there, or you don't have to put anything in there, and then you could roll washcloths or anything of that nature and put in there. Isn't that cute? You could put fake succulents. So these will be for somebody to paint at the paint party. I think we have 6 that are coming so far. I'll have to count. I'm still waiting to hear back from 4 or 5 other ladies that are trying to clear their schedule so that they can be a part of it. They're wanting to so bad. I know it's during a work day, but some of them are working really hard to clear their schedules so that they can be a part of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our white. Now I have this handy dandy little tool that was specially made for me. There aren't any more, but what I'm about to do, you can get the same effect by just using the wood end of your brush, or even easier using a dotter and just dotting each individual petal. But it's so much faster for me, since I have this tool, just to go ahead and use it. Make sure I've got enough on there. And I'm just going to put some little flowers here and there. Let me get a different white. That white is really thick, and I love it for base coating. But for this, I need a white that's a little more, a little thinner. Let's use Apple Barrel. See what we get. Apple Barrel is really good if you're hand lettering or doing something like this, because it is thinner. But I love that Ceramcoat for base coating. Now, let me see if I can get it exactly back on there. And we're just going to randomly add a few here and there. I don't want too many, but I want to make sure that I get one wherever we need it. Now those will take just a second to dry. I could make little stems coming off of them to make them look like stems on the flowers. And I did that on the other one that we did. Let me grab it right quick. Just try to see how many different ways I can use them. I'm going to put them in a craft show. I may bring some to the paint party to sell. But here's the other one that we did. And I did put little stems and leaves on them in centers. I think we'll probably put yellow centers in these. And that is, these are flowers off of a gift bag that we Mod Podged on. And then little wooden butterflies. So that's another one. So many different ways that you can do them. They make pretty little Christmas boxes. I think for the show and to sell, I mean, you could do both sides, but I think I'm going to paint just one side and leave the other blank. Somebody could do, like for this one is like a summer fall. On the other side, you could do a Christmas one or a real springy one. So you could have it both ways. But for these, I think I'm just going to do one side and then let them decide if they want to paint something on the other side. So let's go ahead and get some of our yellow. And with my daughter, I'm going to add yellow centers. Now remember, those dots are still very wet. So you don't want to put your arm in them. And if you're going to dry them with a hair dryer or a heat gun or anything, you just want to be really careful until they set a little bit. If you get too close with that hair dryer or heat gun, the paint will just blow everywhere. Okay, I'm going to dry it just a little. Get my tool clean here. Don't want it rusting. Because there's not another one in the world like it. Okay, so got that off. I'm going to hold it up so that it's not splattering them. Good enough to get it set, and then you can get closer. Thank you, Susan. Where can you purchase the glue? I ordered the glue on Amazon. And it's stick fast. Let me get it again. I think that's 2 words. Yes, it's 2 words. Stick fast instant adhesive. And I get the CA thick. And I have been using it for months. And I've only used maybe 1/4 of it. It doesn't take much at all. Okay, I do see here where this little flower has kind of soaked in. So I'm going to add a little more to the dots, just using my daughter. And this is the way you would do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll hold it up here and let it set a little bit. And then you can spray it with a glossy varnish or just Mod Podge it, Mod Podge the front of it. Now, if this is something you would be putting outside, you would want to be sure and use an outdoor sealer. I use a water-based. I always make sure that it's water-based polyurethane spray. If it's oil-based, it will yellow. So you want to make sure that it's water-based. Okay, I think those are set good enough that they're not going to go away. I mean, roll out when we... Let's put... We've got a little bit of orange in our petals. Let's put just a little bit of orange in the centers of our flowers. This is the spiced pumpkin. And I'm going to use the tiny, just the very smallest tip. Just to give us a little more color. I'm not going to put much at all. Just barely tapping it. Just giving it another layer, and that's pulling out that orange that we have in our petals. If you will go on my website, youngatheartcreations.com, I do have pictures of some of the other big sunflowers that I've done where I do a lot of dotting all around on them. I do have videos doing that, or a video on my Facebook page. Here on the page, you'll just have to go to videos and then scroll down until you come to there's several different sunflower videos. Okay, I like that. I think it added just enough color for us, but not too much. Okay, let me raise you up here. I know this tool, now this part is plastic. This is steel. This used to have the same part here was plastic like this, and it broke. I'd had it for years. I got it somewhere down in San Antonio or Austin. And anyway, it was a plastic tool. It's when I just started painting, and it came in a package. And so I thought, well, that looks interesting, and I grabbed it. Had I known how much I would use it. I've used it on especially little girl things. I have used this tool so much. Well, that one broke, and one of the teeth broke off of it, or I think maybe even two of them did. So I have a friend that has a huge machine shop. I mean, makes hundreds of thousands of dollar tool pieces, that big old bearings and things that they have to carry on an 18-wheeler. That's how big the things are he makes in his shop, his business. And so I took this little bitty thing to him, and I said, do you think you could make me one of these in metal or steel, the stuff that you use? I said, it's my most prized tool that I use, and it's broken. I said, do you think you could make a pattern using this? And I don't know anything about all the numbers and things they have to redo to recalibrate and all that stuff, but bless his heart, he made me one. And he brought it to me, and he said, out of all these enormous bearings that we make, that was the most difficult. I guess because he didn't have a pattern, I don't know, but he got it perfect for me and put it on this handle, so I treasure it. My children that paint, my grandchildren that paint with me, my daughter, whoever, they know that that is Mom's tool. You're only allowed to use it if I'm here. It is never, ever, ever to leave this room. And so they know that, oh no, don't use that. That's Mom's prized possession. So, and I have searched everywhere. I don't know what the name of the company was, but I have found other shapes, you know, but just on Etsy, not that they sell now. I haven't been able to find them, but this one makes the cutest little flowers, and I just absolutely love it. I'm sure someday something will happen to it, but until then, I protect it with my life. Almost, not really, but the kids would say I do. Okay, let me see if I can turn it over here now. I think they're all dry enough, so we put those little yellow centers in. We've got our little ladybug. I thought we might put a little bumblebee on it, but I really don't think it needs enough with the ladybug. I could put a couple, like a ladybug on each of these flowers. I might do that later, but that's the little ladybug, and you saw how quickly we did that yesterday on part 1. That was super fast and easy, but it adds so much to it. And you can do the ladybug in flight. Might put one of those on there. I don't know. I have to look at it a little bit, but I think we're done. I think that'll do it for that. Just so many different ways. So we've got that one. We've got, oh, I already put the other one up. Here's this one. This one. This is the one we'll be doing in the class. We're going to add a little more grass than what we did down here. We're going to Mod Podge some napkins on it, and using the dotting system. Look at the little flowers down there. So we're going to learn several different little techniques in this, but it's just a very, very simple flower, very simple piece. Each flower has 2 different colors on the petal, and it's automatically shaded with the stroke that I'm going to teach you. We don't have to go through and shade each one like we did this petal. So a little different on that. Oh, I wish you were closer too. I do wish you were closer. I know we would have so much fun. Hi, Sharon. Sharon Dunlap is coming to the paint party. And yes, it is priceless, Susan. I guard it with my life. Hi, Carol. Thank you so much. I love little ladybugs. Usually if I do something with a flower, I've got a ladybug on it somewhere. Normally I do. Okay, well that's part 2 and that's finished. If you have any questions about the paint party, please don't hesitate to ask me, call me, private message me. And it will start at 11 o'clock. we'll paint until, we'll probably start cleaning up at 3 or a little after. Everybody that's coming is just going to bring some snacks or lunch for themselves. You're not bringing for anybody else, just yourself if you want something to snack, because we'll work through lunch. And then we will have some door prizes. I'll teach you a couple of more little tips that that I'm going to take with me. I'll have a table set up with some things for sale. Probably have one of these on there, 2 or 3 of these on there. So I'll have to figure out the pricing on them. But so if you are planning on, if you want to shop, it'll just be one little table with some stuff on it. So if you want to bring some cash for that, or check is fine, either way. But we're just going to have a good time. I cannot wait to meet you guys and to paint with you and just have a good time. I've already got another party. Not sure if it's going to be not for me, but it's for somebody else, another hostess, having a party in April or May. She's looking at the calendar. So the paint parties are picking back up, and I am thrilled. Goodbye, COVID. And so we're getting ramped up again. So if you are local and would like to have a paint party, please contact me, and I will let you know about that. If you're the hostess, it doesn't cost you anything. You don't pay anything. You just come and enjoy. So it is free for you. I like to have 5 or more, for that to happen, but it's not really worth it cost wise for me if it's under 5 people, but 5 or more. But I have done some for under 5, so I will work with you any way that I can. But I have lots of different things that we could paint. We'll figure that out together. But right now, the upcoming party, I need to let you know that the deadline to register for that, because I've had several of you ask me that haven't registered yet, is April the 15th. So that's just in a couple of weeks. So get your buddy to come. Get some women from church to come with you, and let's have a great time. And I'll be on here again up until the 15th advertising it, because there are still some that said, what party? What are you talking about? You would think as much as I've been on here, they would go, what? That party talk again? But there are still some that don't know about it. So have a wonderful day. Now tomorrow night, tomorrow's church, so I probably won't be on here tomorrow evening, but my official new paint evening is on Thursdays. So we will paint something tomorrow. I haven't decided yet, but I've got something new that I haven't done yet that I may try tomorrow. Thursday. So probably about 6 o'clock, I will send out a message going live in 5 or whatever. So be sure and watch for that. But it'll probably be around 6 o'clock that we're going to do that, 5:30 or 6-ish. I've got to get it together and see if I think it's going to work. I've never done it live before. So, it's with material instead of napkins. So we'll see. I got some really pretty material to show you, and I'm really excited about it. So join me then. Don't forget to hit that sprinkle button, which Facebook spells S-H-A-R-E. I would appreciate it so much. Thanks, ladies. I appreciate you hopping on. Bye-bye.